All right. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Feliz Navidad and all of that. I am in the midst of getting my last amount of food ready for my family, but I had to come on here and give you guys 5 reasons that we should not have been surprised that Aikisha and Willie Colon left Belle Collective. Now, before I get into the reasons, I want to make sure that I say I think the way they did it was very unprofessional and not cool at all. It did go viral, so maybe that was the the goal. But I hate the fact that they surprised Carlos with it on live. It was super unprofessional and very unlike the model that they both try to present on the show. So I will say, Aikisha, I thought you could have done a little bit better than just to gag Carlos during his live and surprise him. But I'm not surprised, and you shouldn't be either. And this is why. Number one, Willie Colon is a former NFL player. Now, I don't know if you guys know very many NFL players, but there is a certain amount of arrogance that comes with being a part of the talented 10. And I say arrogance, but it actually, it's well deserved. Like to be a part of 1/10 of the country and to do something that most men would give their left testicle to do, play professional football, is a huge feat. And it just comes with a certain amount of prestige, not just for the player, but also for their spouse. So the fact that Willie and Aikisha are coming onto Belle Collective for most of the cast, this is the highlight of their life. However, Willie and Aikisha already had the highlight because he was a professional football player and she was his wife. And we know, what comes with that. So number one, they were just totally in a different class than everyone else on the show. So that should have been a warning sign to us that they might not have been as wowed with being on TV as everyone else was, and definitely not in Jackson, Mississippi. Number two, you guys remember when Aikisha first came to the show, she did not have a great opinion of the other ladies. So even though, there was conversation about if she said the comments about the rest of the ladies seeming unattractive or not, we do know that she was underwhelmed with the cast. And I could just tell from every expression on Willie's face in the first season that he was underwhelmed with the entire production. Again, I'm not going to hold it against him because that man did earn his spot on a professional football team, and he's not from Jackson. And if you're not from Jackson, it's probably hard to be overwhelmed in Jackson. So number two, they just didn't fit. They were not impressed from the get-go. Number three, okay, the entire point of Belle Collective was to put together a business on Ferris Street. We loved it because we're watching, it's all about Black history. The show came out, around the time when all of us were very, very aware of the importance of Black businesses. So, it felt good. It was a great look. Lakeisha's doing brunches, trying to bring women together to own property on Ferris Street and turn Ferris Street around. Aikisha came to the show already owning multiple properties on Ferris Street. So really the mission of the show didn't it was not, a mission that Aikisha could even connect to because she already owned property. So it kind of was like, the ladies had this tug of war, her and Lakeisha, because Leticia was leading this charge, but Aikisha came to the party already owning property. So not only was she the wife of an NFL player, but she also comes from a family in Jackson that owned property on Ferris Street already. So she has like a historical family, and that definitely puts her again in a total different place than the rest of the ladies. Now, number four, she never gelled with the other women. Now, I know that her and Soguchi had a little bit of a camaraderie, but even then, you could just tell that Aikisha has grew up in Jackson in one of the more, affluent families there, went away, captured a football player and lived this, celebrity driven behind the scenes, behind the velvet rope lifestyle. And she never gelled with the ladies from that first brunch where her plate was dirty. She was never able to go back. The other ladies on the show, she didn't necessarily respect. So Gucci, I'm not really sure. If you look, like the fact that you could tell that that relationship could not have been cannot have gone very far because their husbands can't connect. So even if they can connect, because So Gucci is a real estate agent and she also is a personal trainer and she seems really cool, but it's not like we could see the four of them on a double date. Like, can you see Aikisha and So Gucci and Willie and JJ? Absolutely not. So even her best relationship on the show didn't fare really well. So I just didn't feel like she really appreciated the rest of the ladies on the show. Not to mention, again, those comments of her believing that the other ladies were not necessarily as attractive as her. And again, we don't know if she said that or not, but it's just in the back of our minds, right? And so it also prevented her from really gelling with the ladies. So it just never was going to work. The fifth issue, of course, is the fight. So this is the South, right? Jackson, Mississippi is the South. And people definitely have this idea, I'm going to stick beside my man, my man, my man. As you should. There's nothing wrong with that. But Willie could not possibly even relate to these guys. Not only is he from New York, so New York already has this swag and this intellectual vibe that's really not present in Jackson. No disrespect, respectfully to Jackson, but New York is just different, especially where he's from. Bravado and machismo is a big part of that. And then he was a football player on top of that. So he was never going to connect with any of these husbands. At the point that there was this fight, then it's never going to go back. Willie never respected them. He thought they were clowns, and he said as much. And they felt that, they have egos just like he does. They may not be as big as him, but they definitely have egos. Cliff is a successful businessman. And so any man with money is going to have some type of ego. Glenn is, successful at what he does. So, and he's a rapper. So, Glendale has come up with an ego. And the fight between the men meant that the ladies' relationship was over. And Aikisha, who didn't respect them anyway, it was not going to work. Now, all of that together, again, I think that the way that they did it was 100% wrong. I think that Aikisha should have had a lot more respect for Carlos. But again, hey, it kind of worked because it went viral and we're all talking about it. Do I think Aikisha is going to regret it? Probably, because I really don't see them fitting any other television show. I know that she is, in a different stage of her life right now than most of the ladies. And she just doesn't have the same desire probably and need, to have that celebrity vibe. So I think that it was inevitable that this would come, but I just wish that they could have done it in a much different way. So those are my 5 reasons why we, as watchers and the audience of Belle Collective, should not have been surprised after the fight. Where were they going to go? Where were they going to go? Like, there was even the weak relationship between Aikisha and So Gucci was not enough to keep her on the show. So I'm not surprised that she left. And it's also, it's beneath us. We're out of here. We don't need this. I'm not mad at it, but I don't know about doing it to Carlos right there. Maybe you could have given him a heads up, but knowing Carlos, maybe he loved it because it's probably going to continue to go viral. So those are my 5 reasons. I hope you guys are having an amazing Christmas. I had to just jump in here. I'm going to get back to my cooking. I hope you're going to get back to your enjoying your family, and check in with me next week because I have 5 reasons why Dr. Heavenly was dead ass wrong for asking for security. But we'll get into that later on before the New Year's. Merry Christmas. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.